I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're looking into another synthesizer, software synthesizer from Cherry Audio. They do great software synthesizers. A lot of them are a recreation of classic synthesizers. This one is called Atomica, and it's actually a emulation of the Soviet synthesizer, the Polyvoks synthesizer, made in 1982 to 1990. When you looked at it, it felt like another analog synthesizer of the time, but they did not have access to the same technology as you had in the US or even in Japan at the time. So instead of using the same technology that you would see in US synthesizer at the time, you had to be creative. There's a completely different way of using, in this case, op amp to create the filter. It works, makes a low pass, bend pass, high pass if you need to, but it has a different tone to it. That's what's make the Polyvoks sound different than the others. Let's just jump in and let's say with FM. Now, listen carefully. You have this oscillator here, which is oscillator 1, that we only listen to the first one, is being modulated by oscillator 2. If I bring this down, that's it. So this is here, and what this one does, the modulator is changing modulation here, the pitch of oscillator 2. And by changing the pitch of the 2, it changes the way it modulates 1. Changes so it's just a bizarre two-step kind of FM arpeggiator. I've got this one also a little bit further than this one. Does not have two steps. Now this one is, you have the arpeggiator here, okay? It plays two notes. It goes one octave. If I press just one key, it goes an octave higher. It goes 3 octave here. If I go back to main, now the main is having, I'm choosing a different options here, and I want it to be square, and it's sync, and this one's going to control the modulation of the filter. Would you have a filter open, close, open, close, and they're not at the same time as the rhythm of the arpeggiator, and it changes the filter. That's one way to have this evolve in time, which is pretty cool. And I don't have too much effects. I like to have my sound dry so I hear what they do. Massive bass is basically playing these two oscillators here with different shape, slightly different in pitch, a little bit detuned, and the starve is high and the drive is high. So this makes you this massive, wide drone bass. I like that sound. And again, if you play with the resonance, you can bring other stuff in it. Just like angry bass. This one also is a sequence bass. So this one is simple. You got a very short decay, no sustain. You're just cutting, and I want to be clean, so there's no starve, no drive. I could, but no, I just want to have that. That's nice closeness, you know. But then the arpeggiator, what we do, we add a delay here at the time is not the same as this one. And one thing that is interesting is that you also have a modulation. Now, a reverb here, you say want to cut high pass high, so you don't have that reverb on the bass, you only have on the high section. So if I go something like this, so only the high keys will have the reverb, and when you go back to the bass, you don't have it. Which is pretty cool. I like that approach. So now we have filth. Mono wave filth. It's a monophonic, wavy, but now I'm using the resonance, which is very nasal here. That's why I'm saying this sounds a lot like the MS-20. It's not the same, of course, but it's the same family of nasal filter. That's why I call it filth. It's got that, you know, noisy kind. It's not clean, which is fine. Now I'm playing with this. I'm adding starving to this now. I hear that. And this one is in bandpass mode. Put it in low pass. Or in high pass mode. More like thunder. I like this, kind of a aggressive, and then this fill too. Same thing, but faster, and a little bit more. Now, with playing with the fast moving of the filter, I made this laser FM. So it's in FM mode. In this case, I only have oscillator 1 playing. I have second one modulating the first one. It's actually lower second one, so it makes it more like a moving and grungy. You get a little bit of FM. But I have some I like this kind of a, you know, I call it laser. It has that movement to it. Now, after that, I play with bigger sounds like sweep. I This one's huge because of the reverb and the tape echo. We have the feedback is very long here. Feedback here, very long. You can even bring it to having a real feedback if you want to. And this one is really like slow attack, slow decay. And the drive is up and the resonance is not at the max, but you have that. Very long and nice. Now this one is also a pad. A lot of movement at the back here. Because you have, again, you got a filter, but now it's less noisy. But the arpeggiator, you have just the galactic, which is just huge, and the chorus and the phaser. So Atomica is really interesting in the fact that it doesn't sound like what we are used to, and a lot of analog synthesizer has this sound to the filter. And that's what we're interested in when we look at different synthesizers, is that the filter sounds different. So this one has an attitude by itself, plus the fact that you have the starve and the drive that you don't usually have on this as a hardware synthesizer. And it's a control that gives you a tone that you don't hear often. I would say to Cherry Audio, I love what you did to this, but I can't help myself from saying, I wish I had an advanced mode to tweak inside interconnection. What I mean by that is if you had an advanced mode, and I would be able to assign like a matrix and say, well, my modulator, I wanted to control the amount of oscillator 2 FM. I know we're going away from the original synthesizer, but why not? You know, the fact that we have starve and filter, why not have an advanced matrix of modulation and say modulator sends to oscillator FM, or the amount of noise, so noise can come in and leave. And why not say, well, the FM for the modulator for, well, the modulator and the effects modulator could also be there, and you can be controlled in different places. But that's just me. I love to have more control about modulation, and every time I turn a knob and I find I like that sound, I'm wishing I could control this. Of course, you could assign this. You can record a controller to this and assign a MIDI message to control the oscillator 2 FM mode here. That is what I'll have to do if I want to control it. But part of the synthesis, it'd be nice to have advanced internal matrix of modulation, but that's just me. That's it. It's a cool thing. It sounds really nice. And again, Cherry Audio, good work. You're doing, very cool sounding synthesizers. Keep it up. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.